Okay, it is saying that we are live. Let's try this again. Okay, I can see me this time, but I was also going for a little while before too. So that only made it 1 minute and 23 seconds. So let's see how long this one goes for. Let's give it a minute. I want to see what was happening on YouTube at the same time, just to know whether or not this is a Facebook issue or if this is a StreamYard issue. Past live videos. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's a Facebook issue because everything's streamed perfectly to YouTube. But let's see if it's okay here for a minute before I get going. I hate to have dead air at the beginning here, but I don't want to go too far and have it not be working. All right. I saw you guys saying stuff about freezing. I'm like, oh, you guys are like freezing in in where you live. It's freezing cold. That's what I thought you were saying at first. Because I can't like catch all the comments as they come in. But so far, it looks like we are so far so good. Let me know if it freezes again. If it freezes again, honestly, it's working okay on YouTube. So I'm going to drop the link for the YouTube, for my YouTube channel here in the comments. And if we have a problem again, it's a Facebook issue. It happens. Facebooks can be obnoxious sometimes, but I don't want you to miss it. And I don't want to have to keep stopping for Facebook issues. So I am going to drop the link for YouTube in the comments. If it stops working, just go to the YouTube channel and continue to watch from there. All right, cool, everybody. If we're cool, tech, it's great and it's terrible all at the same time. So, let's see. Carolyn says that it was freezing again, but everybody else saying working now. And as far as I can tell on this end, it looks like it's working on the Facebook page. So we are going to move ahead. Sarah says maybe we all jumped on too quickly. That should not be a problem. That should not be the problem. I think it was just a Facebook problem. Facebook's just crazy sometimes. So if it freezes, go to YouTube. All right. So let me start all over again. We have Cindy on today, and we're going to be doing a hot seat with Cindy, which is a live coaching call. And during this live coaching call, we are going to be talking about her business. We're going to be talking about her Facebook page, wherever she's stuck in her business, that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, during this call, there are times that I'm going to be mentioning Handmade Sellers Club. I'm going to be mentioning training that's in the club. I'm going to be mentioning the community. I'm going to be mentioning the Prompts for Profits calendar, different templates we have, etc. If you're a Handmade Sellers Club member, then you know where to access all of those things, or you know how to find those things. If you are not a Handmade Sellers Club member, but you're like, hey, I would love to get that template, or I would love to get that calendar, or whatever we're talking about. If you want access to that training, to the community, to the Prompts for Profits calendar, the templates, etc., you can get all of that when you take a 2-week trial of Handmade Sellers Club for just $7. So I'm going to drop the link for Handmade Sellers Club in the comments below. Excuse me. So that you can go check that out. Wait till after the call, but you can sign up during if you want, but then you might miss some stuff, and I don't want you to miss anything. The replay for this call will be available immediately after. So if there's anything that you missed or you want to watch it again, you can watch it here on Facebook. Facebook's new rules is it's only up for 30 days. So we are now streaming to YouTube as well, so that we can keep these videos up for a much longer period of time. Forever, unless YouTube starts a new rule. So you can always check us out on YouTube as well. All right, assuming that everything is still working, which it does look like that it is, we're going to go ahead and jump onto the hot seat. So I'm going to bring up Cindy. There we go. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, everybody.
I am so excited to have you here. I've seen you be very active in the Handmade Sellers Club group, asking lots of questions, kicking butt during the live sale for the Small Shop Discovery live sale this month. I was like, was that last month or this month? I'm already losing track.
Yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what your business is.
Okay, so I kind of want to go back to how I got started so you know the direction that I'm going in, right? So I retired about 5 years ago. I'm not the kind of person that can sit and do nothing. I had to do something. So I started crocheting. And then I thought, well, as long as I'm crocheting these things, I might as well see if I could sell them, make something out of them, right? So I started doing that. I created a business called Cindy's Handcrafted Gifts. I did okay, but it felt like it was taking me a long time to make these things and not making as much. I looked at your profit calculator and I wasn't making as much profit as I should. It was just taking me too much work and not enough profit. So I thought, okay, I need to do some research. And all of this is because of the Handmade Sellers Club, all the tips and tricks and everything. I was going through that whole process to figure out how I can make a business because I wanted to make a business out of it. I didn't want it to just be a hobby. I wanted to make it good. So then I researched ideas. I found baskets, hand coiled, cloth wrapped coiled baskets, rope baskets. I thought nobody's making those. It's practical. People can use them. It's a one focus item. And I had done some crocheted baskets that I sold before, so it went pretty well. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try that. And then I thought, I want to go beyond that. I want to make them identifiable to anybody if they see them. Like this is, and I came up with my name, the Home Basket Boutique, again because of your training to come up with something that identifies it. It's clear. So I thought, okay, how do I make it so that if you see it on the street, oh, yeah, that's the Home Basket Boutique basket. So I came up with, and also I wanted it to be Minnesotan, right, to my region. So I found a Lake Superior agate. I hand polish it. I tumble them myself. They're on every basket. So that makes it very, very unique to me, right? People love that. I go to craft fairs and they go, oh, I know I have a big banner that talks about it and they're crazy about it. So I think that's a win. Um, and then I started selling things in craft markets and that kind of thing. I'm not selling online. I'm not quite sure why. So that's why I'm really, really super happy. Thank you. Thank you so much for picking me because I need your help with that. Um, um, so, so I started making more simplistic baskets, right? Things like this is the one actually that won for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
This one. Actually, when I was crocheting, you gave away my reindeer for
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
one year. This is my newest one, my
Nice.
Easter basket. So these are just cute kinds of things. But the direction I want to go in, and I've talked to other artisans at craft fairs, and they said, you really need to be more unique. You need to kind of like you're talking about doing the wow factor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm thinking, yeah, if I can do the wow factor and I can make better, more intricate baskets or something that I can make more money and I don't have to work as hard,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when I heard Willow made $8,000 and one, it's like, oh my God, that's what I want to do, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's my direction. That's where I'm going now. I'm really working hard on making unique baskets. I've incorporated a lot of nature into them. I've got one that has for Minnesota. It has an antler handle. I have another one that has porcupine quills on the
Yeah,
front.
I saw the porcupine quills. That's very different.
Yeah, very different. Feathers, all kinds of things. I'm thinking about Willow again. I'm thinking about maybe making some punk rock. I don't know if that's the terminology anymore, but some things that have like metal and I don't know. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, trying to think of how I can make this really good. I've been accepted in the on commission basis in a gift shop down in Stillwater, Minnesota, which is right on the river, big tourist town, right on Main Street. Tons of traffic goes through there. I also have, I'm just putting my stuff in a commission shop in the Minneapolis Visitor Center, downtown Minneapolis, right on Nicollet Mall, right in the main. So those are two really huge venues. I just put them in there, so I don't know how well it's going to go, but so, and then also there's an art center here in White Bear Lake that I'm looking at, maybe putting my stuff in there, and it's making me again think about going more artsy, more artisan. So that's my direction.
Okay, so one thing I didn't realize that you actually changed your focus after joining HSC. I thought you came in with baskets.
No.
So that's very cool. Very cool that you paid attention to that with the pricing calculator and that you wanted to make something that was more economically viable than, and I want everybody to be clear. It's not that crochet can't be economically viable, but there is a lot of crochet out there. So looking at something other than crochet can help you find those different niches that you can go into. We have several people that are doing really well with crochet, but you got to find that right place to be. So, okay, so you're doing the baskets now. And you're in those stores and you've been selling them at the shows and they're doing well at the shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the struggle is the online sales. Now you did pretty well during the live sale.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. What do you think was different about that live sale that is different than what you're trying now?
Maybe because it was live. It seems like if they're seeing me and seeing my baskets, it's almost like live, right? It's like 3D. So I'm trying to do a lot more of that on my Facebook page as well. I think they tend to go better that way.
So one of the things about going live, especially with a product like, well, everybody's product, right? So you say they do well at the shows, and what do people do at the shows? They pick them up, they look at them, they're looking at all the different angles, they can see the texture, they can understand the size a little bit better. So one of the great things that going live does is it allows you, it's like we're mimicking the show. How do we mimic somebody's interaction with our product online? And one of the best ways to do that is picking it up for them and showing them. And we've even had members, I had a member years ago that sold jams and jellies, and she would taste it live. And because she couldn't send everybody a sample, right? But she would taste it and go, oh my gosh, the peach in this, you would just not believe the flavor. And there's not a lot of sugar in this, and I can't believe the flavor that's coming through on the peach. So if you're paying attention at the shows and somebody goes, ooh, I love the way it feels, then you do videos of like, oh, and this is so soft. It's so whatever, right? Whatever kinds of, whatever senses they're using at the show, you want to mimic that with your online, especially your lives. Now you can do it in text posts, and talk about how something feels, how heavy it is. If somebody goes, ooh, that's lighter than I thought it was going to be, or that's heavier than I thought it was going to be, or they're just kind of like feeling the weight of it. I know, like, I instantly think of my mom. My mom would pick it up and just kind of like feel the weight of it, right? She's a tactile person. She's a touchy person.
Yeah.
So touching it and feeling it, and it's like, oh, it's got a nice little weight to it, or it's really, really lightweight. I don't know. So for me at home, I have no idea if your baskets are heavy, if they're light, if they feel sturdy, if they crunch up, right? Or if you try to bend it and it doesn't bend much.
Yeah, but
those
that's
are
the
all
other
things
thing.
they can tell at a show.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say at the show. I get a lot of people saying these are high quality. I've not seen this kind of quality in these baskets before. So they can see the quality when they're there in person, but you can I don't know. It's hard to do it when you're on.
Then and all you have to do, you don't have to wait for me, the viewer, to see that. You tell me that. Tell me that and show me that. So bring it up close. I'm trying to find something in my space here that I'll use my mug here. Bring it up close to the camera and like, look at this. See these seams right here? Most baskets don't do that extra seam, but I do that extra seam because this basket is never going to unravel. I'm just making stuff up, right?
Yeah,
but when they describe the quality, we don't want to say things just quality and just unique. Those are kind of buzz top of the line words that are superficial, right? What does unique mean? What does quality mean? So if you can actually verbalize, this is unique and here's why. This is quality and here's why. This is the difference between my baskets and other baskets that are similar. So do you think that you could, like, right now, could you verbalize what's the difference between your baskets and somebody else's baskets?
Yeah, for instance, I can hold this up and I can say, if you look at the stitching, you can see how consistent my stitching is all the way around. You can see that it's very firm. A lot of baskets aren't firm. It holds up. The rope that I use, I actually spend more money for the cord, the 1/4 inch cord that I use. Also for the thread that I use, I spend more money. So high quality products, I think that makes a difference. Also the cloth that I use, you can see it's really nice. It's batik, 100% cotton. Not all are batik, but they're all 100% cotton. So again, high quality products,
Yeah,
high
so
quality
so you just
materials.
did it right there, right? So we're not just saying I have a high quality basket. We're giving all the reasons and everything that makes it a high quality basket. And just by you moving it around, I could hear how it was kind of like touching your hand. That even is giving me clues of, like, okay, that's sturdy. It's not stiff, but it's solid, right?
Hmm.
It's not floppy. All of those little cues are things that I would get at a show, just me picking it up.
Yeah.
But online, I need you to do it because
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to tell what it is. I'm not going to be able to tell what it is that makes you different just from a picture alone. And we're going to get into your Facebook page if you want to.
Yeah, I
Um,
do,
we
for
can jump
sure.
onto your Facebook page and I'll do a review of your Facebook page. But there's a lot of what you just communicated, and I've already looked at your page that was nowhere on your page, right?
Okay.
Because now I didn't watch your videos. You did put a replay of a live video up there.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday, I think. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. And that's what we want to do with reels, because reels are going to attract more people to you.
Hmm.
Now, the agate for the Minnesota, now that's going to play really well for your local area. It's not as impactful for me because I'm from Ohio, right? And it's
Right.
not as impactful for somebody in California. Now, if I have family from that area, I could say, ooh, that would be a neat thing for this person.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that you want to play up in your local area. Not to say to ignore it online, but if you're going to talk about it, tell me why it's important, right? Why
Hmm.
are you putting it there? So you may understand it, just like you guys probably have lucky stones in that area from Sheep's Head in Lake Superior. We get them in Lake Erie. They're called lucky stones. It's a bone from, like, the head of a sheep head. And
Hmm.
people in this area know a lot of them know what lucky stones are. So if I posted something to Facebook locally and said that I made a pair of earrings out of lucky stones, there's a high percentage of people that are going to understand the significance that that's a local thing.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
you, for Minnesota agate, people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a rock. I don't know that we get agate here in Lake Erie. We're not really as rocky as other areas. Um, but for me, the outsider, you're going to have to explain it a little bit. And
Okay.
you're going to have to, not just explain it, but also, like, really show your pride in it. Like, I'm from Minnesota. This is my Minnesota pride. And I have seen that. So I knew that you used I knew you used agate. I couldn't remember if you were from Michigan or Wisconsin. I couldn't remember exactly where you were from, but I knew you were in the Great Lakes region, and I
Yeah.
knew that you used stones from that area on your
Hmm.
baskets. So
Yeah.
that I have seen just looking over your stuff in the past, just,
Okay.
and not like diving deep. So it was definitely there. Um, so again, like, talking about the significance of why you're adding that onto the basket, but
Hmm.
also understanding that people outside the area, it's not going to be as important to somebody like me that it's Minnesota agate as it is from somebody that's in Minnesota that it's Minnesota agate.
So I have a question about that. The Minnesota agate or the agate, the Lake Superior agate, any kind of agate is supposed to have specific qualities to it from
Sure.
Native Americans, right?
Okay.
Spiritual qualities, peace and safety and all those kinds of things. I didn't know if that's something that I should put out there because it has some pretty cool qualities, but that only appeals to certain people too.
Sure. And it's okay. It's okay to talk about how other cultures, etc. So you can talk about like the Native American associations with it, but you can also talk about there are other people in like the metaphysical world that I've got a piece of aventurine right here because it's like for prosperity and whatever. I bought this maybe 15, almost 20 years ago. Oh my gosh. I love this little thing and I just think it's pretty, but I bought it from a metaphysical shop that's like, oh, it's for money and prosperity and all that stuff. And like, who knows who gave it that designation? All they had to
Yeah,
do was say it. And I'm like, oh, it's mine then, right?
yeah.
And it's pretty and I
Okay.
like it. So you can just kind of do a general search of like the meaning of agate, whether or not you want to do Native American meanings towards it or just kind of that different people react to that. The overall look of your baskets, you could go more of like the metaphysical route, but only if that's like who you are.
Personally, it's who I am, but I don't
Okay.
want to turn other people off to that.
Yeah, but we're not worried about other people, right?
Well,
I
I
mean,
am.
we
I
are,
want
but
them to
we are.
buy.
We are, but we aren't. The reason why I say that is because we have this notion in our head that who I am is not how everybody else is. So I'm going to hide that part of who I am as to not offend other people or as to not drive away other people.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen in the group Jen Millard Farmer that's in the group
Hmm.
that does the metaphysical stuff. We had this exact same discussion. She's like, well, I'm into it, but I don't know that everybody else is. And the thing is the people that are like you that are super into it are are going to buy it because it aligns with them if you show them that that's who you are. But if you hide who you are to try to like talk to the mass public,
Hmm.
then your audience is nebulous. So right now, if I said, who is your audience? Who are your buyers?
Typically people who love home decor,
That's
who
that's everybody.
love baskets. I mean, there's people who just love baskets. Like they collect baskets because they love baskets. That's a
Okay.
big part of my audience.
But is that so I when I ask about that, like anybody and everybody can like a basket, right? And just buy a
Hmm.
basket. Anybody and everybody has some sort of home decor. So if I'm looking online and I'm trying to say, where is my audience? And I'm looking at Facebook groups is a good example of that. Yes, there are basket lover groups. I think you've talked about that before, but like home decor is so broad and general
Yeah.
and there's so much there. And home decor can be minimalist, it can be maximalist, it can be all and everything in between. If you are more in alignment with like the metaphysical side of things and you made your baskets for that audience, it would be way faster and easier for you to find that audience, right? Because I can say, where are the metaphysical people? I could give you 20 Facebook groups right now. And that's just not even me typing it in. Like there's going to be so much of that audience that is findable that you can speak directly to. So you're worried about saying like the Native American benefits or attributes of agate because you're trying to be Walmart, where you need to
Mhm.
be a specialty shop talking specifically to the people you want to talk to. So if if you're holding back on attributes of your product or even holding back on designs of your product because you're worried about the general public, then it's like when you're trying to be everything for everybody, you're nobody to anybody. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just play a little thought experiment here. Let's pretend you go all in and you're like, I'm going to make baskets for people who are in this metaphysical world. How would that feel to you? Would you be like, yes, I get to like geek out and totally nerd out in that space? Or do you feel like I'm just not that into it? I don't know if I really want to hang out there.
No, I think I could geek out on that. Yeah, I think I could geek out on that. I already I'm thinking about, okay, well, I could do this and that and the other thing to my baskets to make
It
them
it
appeal
almost
to that
narrows it
level.
down rather than having every option.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking about motifs within that niche, and you're thinking about, um, I don't know, like sunburst and moon and stars, and I don't know. There's all kinds of different things that are motifs within that community that community is going to align with very strongly. So rather than waiting for people who just think your baskets are pretty, which there's nothing wrong with that. And as far as selling locally, selling at the shows, sell whatever you want. But that broader approach online is really, really difficult to get your foot in anywhere,
Yeah.
because who are the people that just say, "Ooh, that's pretty,"
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
we can find the people that say, "Ooh, look at that agate that's on there, the porcupine quills."
Hmm.
Right? So there's going to be some significance there that you can draw into. And if it's
Yeah.
something that, like, I don't want to push you in a direction of not being who you are, right? I want you
Hmm.
to be who you are. So I'm saying this direction because you're also opening the door in that direction. But if you think that that's the wrong direction, you tell me.
Well,
But I want to show you that this is a direction you can go that's going to make it easier to find your audience. It's going to make it easier to communicate to them the value in your baskets.
yeah, I can see that. I was kind of talked out of that kind of metaphysical world early on. But I like that idea. And the reason I did the porcupine quills and the deer antler and the feathers and all of that is because I wanted to get back to nature. And I
Mhm.
think that appeals to that kind of audience
Yes.
too. And I
Yes.
can see how I could, yeah, I did a lot of research on agates and the metaphysical aspects of it. And I didn't include any of it because I was talked out of it actually.
And who talked to you? If like, you don't have to name names, but like, was it somebody in business that said that you shouldn't do it, or like a family member?
It was my partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, because and has your partner, like, I don't want to get into that. So I'm not going to open any doors. Um, so the challenge is hearing advice from people and knowing how to filter it, right?
Mhm.
So if the advice is coming from somebody that is afraid that you're going to alienate the broad group of people by being authentically who you are, I don't agree with that advice, because in most people's mind, they see Walmart, that's business, right? McDonald's, that's business. These are
Yeah.
big, broad, general. And if you want to sell a lot, you go big, broad, and general.
Yeah.
But those are the advantages of those big businesses is having a lot of money and being able to advertise in a bigger way, and systems just that have nothing to do with the types of businesses that we're running.
Right.
So for small business to survive, like if I want to start a bookstore, I'm going to start like a bookstore just of metaphysical books or just of romance books. I'm not going to try to compete with Borders or Books a Million or anything like that, because I can't be as big and broad as they are,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to specialize and niche down and just sell to my people.
Hmm.
So it's up to you. It's your choice. You get to decide. But I have seen really good success from people niching down from broad to a much narrower thing. And also, they get to be more authentically themselves because
Yeah.
now they're having fun in their business because they're geeking out over the stuff they like to geek out on.
Yeah.
And the people they're attracting to them are geeking out on it too. So you're
Yeah.
getting on lives and people are like, oh my gosh, I just love those feathers. Those are great. And that's amazing. Right.
Yeah.
And you guys get to hang out and have a great time, and they're going to spend money with you, and
Hmm.
they're going to connect with you, and they're going to say, I relate to this person, and this person is like me.
Hmm.
When you're trying to pretend not to be that thing, then you're going to be less relatable. You're going to be very vanilla. Nobody's really going to know quite what you stand for or what's important. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It makes total sense. In fact, the woman who owns that shop in Stillwater on the lake, she's a metaphysical healer, and she had part of her products are in the shop. In fact, the first time I went on in there, she was smudging the shop.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, I'm going, oh yeah, I love it. So yeah, I that makes a whole lot of sense to me. I love that direction. I can definitely go there and have fun
And
with
then
it.
you get really creative. So we call that going an inch wide, mile deep. You
Hmm.
get really creative within that vertical,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So instead of like, what are the kids into these days? It's what do my people want? Right? These
Hmm.
are my people. These are the groups I'm hanging out in. These are the things I'm seeing that they're reacting to. And instead of the whole world being an option,
Yeah.
we're getting really creative within here.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there right now that's doing shop updates and doing product drops that's just selling moths. Like they make moths out of fabric, and they put embellishments and things on them, and they're just these big, it's just a big moth,
Mm.
but it's weird and it's eccentric and it's fun, and that's all she does. And when she drops them, she sells out.
No.
Right? So
Hmm.
narrowing down into just these weird things that a small subset of people want. 100 years ago, that wasn't possible because we didn't have the internet. 50 years
Yeah.
ago, it wasn't possible. We didn't have the internet. But
Hmm.
now with the internet, we can find those smaller subsets of people that are dying for products. They just don't know that they can get it from you. Right.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then if you show up and you're like, I've got the coolest products for you, they're so excited. This was how it was in the rabbit toy business. They were so excited to see a website devoted to their rabbits and toys just for their rabbits that they were
Hmm.
like, I'm buying $150 worth of toys. Like they would, and they drop. We'd had people buy $500-600 in toys at a time. And it's
Wow.
because they were like, this is my place where I can be, and I can drop some money to make me feel good, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
these are this is my people.
It'll maybe help me find groups too, because I have had a hard time. Like I haven't had a lot of luck with groups at all. And that's
Because
probably
you're
why I'm
broad
not
in
sending.
general.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So that's part of it. The other part of
Hmm.
it, I want to do the Facebook page review so we can talk about the other parts that I think that if you tweak these areas, it's going to make a big difference for you with your online sales.
Great.
Okay? So
Great.
let me find the page so I can do a proper share here. I'm getting notifications all popping up there. What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so this is your Facebook page. Handmade artisan rope bowls and baskets, stylish yet functional. When I do these Facebook page reviews, I look at the top 3 elements first: the name, the profile pic, and the cover photo. And what I'm looking for is, does it tell me what you do? Does it make me want what you have? Does it make, if I'm your ideal customer, am I squealing and like, oh my gosh, look at this, this is so great, and then therefore inspiring me to follow your page and interact with your post.
Hmm.
So let's start with the name, because the name is the easiest one. The Home Basket Boutique. The Home Basket Boutique, I think, is perfectly fine. It tells me that you have baskets. Boutique can kind of be one of those words where it means, I feel like boutique means you've got a little bit of everything, but it's fine. I don't know that you need to necessarily change it on that. The only reason I would potentially change your name is if you go in the metaphysical direction, is adding maybe a metaphysical um not qualifier, but like Or you could do a qualifier, but you could just rename it slightly. So like Willow had the very first name of her business was something like Willow's Clickety Clacks or something like that. It was no, you couldn't tell what it was she sold. It was very weird, a very weird name. But then she changed her name to Druidic Dice, and people that play D&D know what druids are, and they also kind of understand what the style of a druid is. and it had the word dice in it. People that play D&D totally understood, oh, this is a person who makes dice, and there's a more nature type of theme to the dice based on the druidic dice. So if you were to go the metaphysical route, I think finding words like the word raven feels more metaphysical than not, right? So there's just words that you could put in there that could potentially broadcast better to your ideal customer if you're going the metaphysical route. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is for you. That's something you would have to sit with, and you've got to make a decision whether you're going in that direction or not.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But that's something I would look at.
Okay.
Now, your profile pic. Is there a reason why you have a picture of yourself as your profile pic?
Because that's what I thought we were supposed to do.
No. So go through the training for the makeover training. The profile pic, generally, you do want to use a picture of you in your cover photo. But your profile pic, we want to brand the business a little bit better, because when we go small down here, see how small that profile pic gets?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a picture of you, one of the things we have to do online is create that know, like, and trust. And when it's a picture of you for the profile pic, something psychologically happens to us that we think that this is just like a hole in the wall type operation. Somebody just threw up a Facebook page. Now, we're all hole in the wall operations, right? Like, as we all especially start that way. We just have a crafting room and we're throwing stuff up there. But we want to make people feel safe and secure in their purchases from us. So adding some sort of branding to your profile pic is a way that when they see it real small, it pops out and it is instantly recognizable to them. Like, oh, it's that. And it also looks like a quote unquote real business. And it just gives that extra level of trust. And I'm not a super big, you got to look professional sort of person, except for this, because the excuse me, the picture of yourself, it's not even like a professionally taken photo. It's kind of just a dark photo, is not lending that branding. So instead, what I would recommend, and I pulled this up in advance, and this one I just pulled up. It doesn't have to be this one, but I just wanted to show you an example. If you do something really simple on Canva with a little bit, oh, I got it. There we go. If you do something really simple on Canva with looking through the Canva graphics, excuse me, there is a template in the makeover training that's going to give you like this circle within a square. And the reason we do that is because your profile picture is round. And so we want whatever we create to fit within this circle. So the circle is a guide. You can make the circle a color, or you can make it white. Excuse me. I got like this frog stuck in my throat. And it, you can change the color and say, I just want it white. That's fine. But we at least know that it's going to fit within that circle. So I usually start with it a color just to make sure that it fits. This is just a graphic. That's a basket. That's kind of like the kinds of baskets that you create. And even on this graphic, we can change the colors. We can make it, whatever colors we feel like. I don't think that looks good, but you get the drift.
Yeah.
And then that can, if you find a nice, simple image like that, that can act as your branding, where anytime and you could even find a little, let's say, I just thought of this. Let's say we make this basket green. We're going to make it green on both levels here. You can then add just a little agate to it even. I don't know. Like that might be a little too much, but it's two different styles. I don't really like the two different styles, but I would play around with that.
Yeah.
To actually kind of like denote that this is one of your baskets. I'm not exactly sure how I would do that. Maybe something like this is a little bit more subtle. That's not even going to show up. It's too small. It's not going to show up in a profile pic. But the idea is that you can create a simple graphic like this that can then be your branding, that it's always popping up. When it pops up in the news feed, it's instantly recognizable as a basket. And then it gives you that extra level of legitimacy to your business so that people feel like, oh, this is a brand. Okay. Now for your cover photo, let me get back to your page here. For your cover photo, this is very similar to the cover photo template that I have, but you added extra baskets to the sides here. And I brought up the small shop discovery. These are the cover photo. This is very similar to the cover photos we have in the template that we have in the training. And you can see we only did 5 across. And the reason why we're doing that is you're having to shrink the product so small to fit 7 products in this image. And then you're also giving so much room to this border around it that the border is almost distracting from the baskets themselves. And then the baskets are being shrunk way down. So it's kind of hard for me to tell what this is. And we're going to get into your pictures a little bit because that's not helping much either.
Okay.
But if you use the template, each basket is going to be bigger on the screen for both desktop. And then when you go onto mobile, it will cut off the first and the 5th basket, but the first 3 are going to still be big and in your face and viewable. So we can see the product pretty well. I see this all the time. People shrink. They want to put as much product out there as possible so that so somebody will see it and we want to draw attention to it. But by shrinking it down, it's actually more difficult to see. And it doesn't come through as clearly.
Okay.
Now, like this middle basket, I feel like kind of has that is this feathers on this one here in the middle?
Yeah.
That I think would do amazing in the metaphysical groups. And this one to the left has the feather. I think those are exactly where you need to be. I think those are really, really cool. They're the ones that are popping out to me. They're like, wow, that looks cool, but it's so small. And the way that the photos are taken, I can't really see the detail. And so if you didn't tell me in advance that you had made one with feathers, this middle one, I definitely wouldn't have figured that out.
And I think they're more artistic versus just cute baskets,
Yes. And I think that's the direction you said that's the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
So you can be really, really artsy with it. I'm thinking like these baskets here remind me of like Tucson, right? That Southwestern kind of Native American shaman type of basket, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really, really cool. So that's what I would do with the cover photo. And then for the text area, if you are going more the metaphysical routes, that sort of thing, then we want that to be reflected up here. Because right now, again, it's not that you can't have success with what you're doing, because we've already proven that you can. You went on the live and you sold, how many baskets did you sell
8.
between the live and the replay?
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. 6. Sorry, 6 baskets.
So you sold 6 baskets. So we know people are going to buy even with the direction you're going now. So it's not that, handmade artisan rope bowls and baskets can't sell. But if we narrow it down, we're going to be able to find our audience better. And then the stylish yet functional, those are just nonsense words to me. Like okay, what does that mean? What does that mean, stylish yet functional? Whose style?
Yeah.
Those are top level words. They're generic words, but like whose style and functional for what?
Yeah.
So just be, the more specific you can be with that, the
Okay.
better. Okay, so that's what I would say for the cover photo, profile pic, and the page name. Um, and then some people would say, well, why not make a basket your profile pic? Your baskets have so much detail that it's going to get kind of lost in the profile pic. That's why I went to maybe finding something on Canva. If you're on Canva, just show you real quick, you can just type up top here, basket. And you
Yeah.
can find something that feels like it feel like, again, if that's not it, that's fine. Just kind of keep looking around and see if you can find something that feels like what you do. Uh,
Yeah.
and that you, and if you go the metaphysical route, it doesn't even necessarily even have to be a basket that's there, but let's say it ends up being the raven's basket. Then you just put a raven there. It doesn't even
Hmm.
have to have a basket. It's just a little, it's an icon to signify to people, I know her, I see her posts, I've seen her post before, and that this is an actual legitimate brand. Okay, so
Okay.
that's all we're trying to accomplish with that profile pic.
Yeah.
Um, any questions so far?
No, that sounds perfect.
Okay, now let's get on to your posts. Let me share the tab again. Let's see, we've got the little baskets with the Easter baskets. All right. Um, avoid graphics like this, even if it's Happy St. Patrick's Day. Just a picture of you holding that basket and say Happy St. Patrick's Day in the text area. The basket, look how small this basket is.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for you to highlight one of your products. And you made the leprechaun bigger than your product.
Yeah, true.
So we don't have to do any of these graphics. These Canva graphics, guys, everybody listening, these Canva graphics are hurting you. Everybody needs to hear me. Take a picture, post the picture. 90 to 95% of the time, that is all that is needed. Take a picture, post the picture. And I think for you, Cindy, one of the things that I'm seeing, the sin that is being committed here is the use of the cutout tool with a lot of your pictures where you're cutting out the background.
Yeah.
And so this picture, it's a little bit dark, but this is a better picture than this. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
It's in context. The lighting is a bit more even. Where even is this? This is like in a white void. There's no context to it. And then you have, it's very, very dark in the front and very, very bright in the back.
Yeah.
It doesn't match the background, which is very well lit everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't match the lighting anywhere. So it just kind of feels like they're floating in midair. Now, this one here where you have like the gradient behind it, it looks soft. It's better. But what I'd really like to see you do, the reason it's better is because you're not highly shadowed on the front of this basket.
Hmm.
That is the thing that's happening consistently. Look at the hard shadow on the front of this basket.
Yeah.
This one, it's hard shadowed on the left and washed out on the right.
Hmm.
The hard shadow. And this basket's just floating who knows where. It doesn't even look like, I have no idea what's in the background or what's holding this basket up. This one, hard shadow in the front of it. Hard shadow in the front of it. You're brightly lit in the back and you've got a hard shadow in the front. So the number one thing you need to work on is your lighting.
Okay.
These cutouts don't need to happen. If you're doing like which one do you like, A or B, have the background in it. If that means you have to find some backgrounds to set up, then that's what you're going to have to do. But normally, like I don't mind this background. What I mind is look how dark the front of that basket just got. Look how
Hmm.
dark the front of the basket is.
Yeah.
And then you've got this big shadow even happening on the inside of it as you're moving it around. So the wow part of the basket is the part that's always getting dark, 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 dark. All four of these
Hmm.
are too bright in the back and too dark in the front. So and your camera is adjusting some of that too, but I can also tell that you might be making some adjustments on that as well.
Yeah, I
And
am.
then when you have no context in the background and the background is stark white, it makes the front look even darker. So getting this one's a little bit better, but see how bright on the right and how dark on the left.
Yeah.
It's very dark. Inside being dark is not going to be the worst thing ever, but the front needs to be well lit. Inside being dark, if you're highlighting the inside, then yeah, we need to see it. But the front is usually the money shot. So I would look at how dark. Look at this harsh
Yeah.
shadow here.
Mm-hmm.
You need to invest in just some ring lights, just some lights that you can kind of put low to the table that are shining up on the basket, because the basket is angled like this. It's angled like this, and the light is coming down from your kitchen light or your dining room light, whatever, and
Yeah.
it's getting blocked. And so all the light's going inside the basket, and then it's missing the front of the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're taking the picture from this angle when the light's coming down on this angle. So you want some lights coming from your angle. And then you're not going to have to try to brighten it up as much. The lighting is going to be much more even across the basket. But you're going to have to play around with those ring lights and kind of move them around and figure out what gives you the best look. You may also want to do some sort of table covering. And I don't mean like a wrinkly sheet, but like, something that looks nice that covers the table so that you're not getting any glare coming off of the table either, because the wood is reflecting the light and it's kind of creating some harsh glares around the wood table.
Yeah.
And just try different things. It may also be that going outside is, and you live in Minnesota, I live in Ohio. I understand how it's cold. It's cold out there, but on an overcast day, and holding the basket in your hand and tilting it up a bit so it's catching that more diffused light could
Mm-hmm.
get you a lot better pictures as well. And I think
Also,
you holding it is a great way to get the pictures, because you're able to angle it out and get the
mm-hmm.
light on the face.
Also, I did get some I don't know what you call it, the hardcover stuff to make a box,
Mhm.
like a light box. And then
But you got to watch the light box too, because a lot of that light's coming down
yeah.
and
Well,
you're
I could
angled.
I could put a thing on top, but then it feels like I don't know where the light's coming from, right? So would it just come from the front with the ring light?
Yeah.
I know there's backgrounds that you can put in there, that you can get. I
You're
don't
going
know.
to have to, so it's really hard to say, here's exactly how to take all the best photos. It
Yeah.
depends on the size of your product. It depends on, like in this case, it's literally the angle of your product is adding a different level of complexity.
Okay.
I recommend that you drop some of these photos in Willow's thread of like that she's going to be doing at 2:00 today in the Handmade Sellers Club. And I'll send her a note to at least look at one of them. Between now and 2, if you could get some pictures in there, I'll
Okay.
send a note to her to look and see what ideas she has for
Okay.
getting that lit. But I honestly think you holding the basket is going to be a big part of it, because you can angle it differently. And then you
Okay.
can bring it up towards the light and get that front on view.
Mm-hmm.
That is more difficult to get when we're dealing with the angle.
Yeah.
And natural light, I see Papaya Cottage saying natural light helps too, as opposed to artificial light. Natural light's always going to be better. We just
Mm-hmm.
can't always get that. And that doesn't mean outside in the sunlight. So that feels that a lot of people think, oh, then I'll go take a picture in the sun, then I have all the light. And that can actually create harsher shadows. So again, you're in Minnesota, you know what an overcast day is. Just like that's
Yeah.
6 months out of our year, I know. Just go out on an overcast day, or in the summertime, you can go into like a well-shaded, either like if you've got a well-shaded porch or a tree or something like that, where it diffuses the light more and you can take pictures there. It's just going to even out that lighting, because here's the thing. Again, my only judgment I can make about that basket is based on that picture.
Yeah.
And if the picture is not highlighting the quality, if the picture is not showing me colors that are making me say, wow, if the picture is not giving me the detail that I need, if the picture itself looks dark and depressing, then that is the perception I'm walking away with. Because I'm on the internet, I can't know any better. So you can say, well, it looks better in person. Well, yeah, but you've got to mimic that online.
Yeah.
And that's with lighting and proper angles and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
So that I can see it and I go, wow, that looks really cool. And like, I'm super curious now. I want to see like this feather basket. Let's go to your, there we go. This is a wow piece. To me, this is a wow piece, but it's so dark on the left and then almost too bright up here on the right-hand corner. I'm just not getting the full coolness of this. And that's where video is going to help you too. Video is definitely something that needs to be in your toolbox. But the still pictures need to be able to reflect it as well. This is way cool. I can tell that this is cooler than the picture is letting on. Have you sold this piece?
Not yet. It's in one of my shops now. I just put it in there.
Yeah, that's something that I think if you got a really great picture of that and went to the metaphysical types of groups that we're talking about and just say, hey, I just my name is Cindy and I started making these baskets and I'm really, really proud of this basket I just made. I think that it turned out cool. Kind of, what do you think, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to catch some attention with that.
Okay. That's great
here
idea.
You've got, all right, you got a wall hanging. And then you've got this one here. And again, like the lighting, it looks like you got a halo on top of your head.
Yeah, I know.
And are these like guinea feathers down here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even in this picture, look how much of what's below is getting, it's like at the very bottom of the photo and it's almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
Where the center of the photo is here, but the part of the basket that's the coolest is way down here. So tilting it up towards the camera and then putting a little bit more of it in the frame so that it's the focal point. We want you in the picture, but the basket itself should still be the focal point. And with your cover photo, having a picture like what I just described as the center photo on your cover photo is a great way to bring that personal touch to your page, where we're branded like we're a professional business, but there still is a real human being behind it. That's a great way to do that. That's a good picture. That's a good picture for that. But again, look how bright the back of the basket is and how dark the front of the basket is. That's your number one challenge, your pictures. Okay. So I want to challenge you to not do the cutouts. I want to challenge you to work on your lighting and more videos. And stop using the Canva graphics like immediately. The only time that you need it is like this or that, but it should have still the natural background in it. I like this one on the left here. That's really cute.
In fact, the only reason I did that graphic for St. Patrick's Day is because that was the same basket that I did my giveaway for. And so people had already seen it a lot. And so I wasn't as needing to show off the basket as I was.
Yeah, I think that's a totally backwards way of thinking. Look at it as, oh, look, I have another opportunity to put this basket front and forward.
Okay.
So every opportunity, like the purpose of the post is to feature your products. They're going to respond more to the picture of the basket than they are the whole St. Patrick's Day thing.
Okay.
You and the picture of the basket are definitely way more important than the rest of the St. Patrick's Day stuff. You can put that in the comments, but you're saying they've seen it a lot. I see it here. So these are pictures you've posted to your page, right?
It was my giveaway.
Yeah.
So they saw it in the giveaway.
Yeah, but they didn't see this picture of you with it in the giveaway.
No.
Yeah. So don't assume that you're going to get tired of seeing something long before your customers are. So
Okay.
you're going to assume they're seeing it as much as you are. They might have seen this giveaway post once. They might not have seen the giveaway post at all. They might have seen it twice at best, right?
Yeah.
So just another picture of the product. You can reuse the products like that feather basket. There's only one picture of that feather basket. Anything you make, you can post about it 10 different times. The biggest thing is just having different angles and different ways of talking about it. You don't necessarily want to use the same exact picture over and over again, but this is cool. Did you do this? Did you put that on there?
Yeah.
Where's the
Was
finished
cool.
picture of that? There it is. That's really cool. Again, I wish the lighting was good on this. This is the kind of thing that is a shock and awe.
Yeah.
This is cool. That's really, really cool. I like that a lot.
That's the direction I'm trying to go to with everything, a shock and awe.
Yes, shock and awe and using very cool. This is very cool. Has this sold?
No, like I said, I just put it in the shop about a week ago, but it hasn't sold online either.
How far away is this shop?
From me?
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. So I would go there with, do you have somebody that can help you take some pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would take somebody there with you. Take pictures right there in the shop. The shop is probably pretty well lit. And just take different angles. Take it with the shop in the background. You could take it, just tell them like, hey, I brought in these baskets. I want to do a quick photo shoot with these baskets. Take them outside. Just try different areas and get pictures with them in the shop. So you can find those like wow pictures that you could share into groups. Because if you still have these pieces, I would hate for you to lose the opportunity to use them to get more attention to your page. I just don't think these photos are the photos you're going to be able to do it with. This is really close. This is really, really close to being a good picture. It is a bit dark on the front, but I'm supposed to be paying more attention to the antler, right?
Yeah.
The front is a little less important in this case because the antler is what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Go get some pictures of you holding it. See if you can find ways to stage it there at the shop. They shouldn't have a problem with you doing that. You don't have to take them out of the shop, but go get some more pictures.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not the same shop as the other one.
Yeah, no. Well, most of my items are one of a kind, right? So I kind of split up the shock and awe ones into the two different shops.
Sure. So then visit the other shop and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And anytime you're restocking those shops, get lots of pictures. I saw you got a picture of somebody holding one of your like little baskets of you and that person.
Yeah.
But they have these beautiful displays. Use them. Be like, okay, I'm going to get pictures while I'm here. And even if that means maybe you need to put something that's subtle underneath the basket to get it to tilt back a little bit so you can get the good lighting on the front of it. You may have better backgrounds there. But something in your hand, a selfie of you holding it, a selfie of you holding it in a different way, a selfie of you holding it outside, putting it on a cute table that they have there at the shop, and just do different things. Just try a lot of different angles and look to see if something stands out for you. And you can go to HSC and post in the group and say, here's all the pictures I took. You don't have to give them all, right? But like, here's the different kinds of pictures I took. Which one of these do you think, am I on the right path?
Okay.
And let us give you some feedback on that. Because you've got some that antler, the feathers. I think you're on the right path with that. And I think that you need to call out to those people and say, this is who I am. I think that something like Easter baskets, it feels timely, but everybody has a version of an Easter basket.
Yeah.
Right. And I can go to the Dollar Tree and get an Easter basket.
That's true.
But I can't go to the Dollar Tree and get a basket with an antler on it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like
Yeah.
that's something that would be in an art show.
Right. That's what I want to do. I want to create things that would be in an art show.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And so
I guess
that's the direction I would encourage you to go. Yes. And be
yeah.
all that. Be all
Okay.
about
All right. I was kind of swerving off of that direction thinking, well, I got to make sales somehow. Maybe they'll buy Easter baskets, you know?
yeah. And again, we get caught up in the kind of trying to chase the customer versus state who you are.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend Duncan the other day about a business that's down here in Sandusky, and this guy does architectural salvage, and he's got a bar with this architectural salvage, and he's redoing this building. And I'm like, it's just him all over the place. He's just being himself all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more you lean into, I'm being me all over these baskets.
Mm-hmm.
And then with an intent in mind of like, I'm looking for more me's out there. I'm looking for more people that are like me, that have the same interests as me, that are also going to think that this is so cool and amazing. And that's
Yeah.
why I would never push somebody in a direction where they're like, yeah, but that's not really me. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't tell you start making D&D baskets for Dungeons and Dragons, and you're like, okay, I guess it's a good market, so I'll go there. Well, no, if
Yeah.
it's not you, you're not going to show up authentically to that space, and you're not going to have fun, and you're not going to know what products to make for them, and everything's going to be miserable. So be
Mm-hmm.
authentic to who you are and lean into those things that make you different, and find your people, find your
Okay.
tribes.
Okay. So I'll be back asking the group, help me find groups that match my
Yeah, yeah,
attitude.
absolutely. And show them, post in the group in HSC, like the feather basket and the antler basket, because I guarantee you immediately people are going to be like, oh, that kind of stuff. Well, then I know where you can go for this, and this.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, total.
Yeah, cool. Any last questions?
No, I mean, eventually, I wanted to get into like pricing, but I
Okay.
feel like maybe I need to get a little bit more into that arena, and then we can talk about pricing more.
Something like adding an antler literally is barely any more work, but can add $20, $30, $40 to the price.
Yeah.
So that shock and awe of having something that is just so different that nobody else has it is going to allow you to increase your prices. And the more that you look like you belong in an art show, the higher your prices can go. So
Okay.
definitely use the calculator to know what your bottom line is. Like,
Right.
I have to get this,
Mhm.
but then look for ways that you can elevate beyond that. Because you definitely don't need, with that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
for a basket that I'm going to have on my side table and just throw my keys in, sure, you're probably going to be at the bottom line. But for
Mhm.
a basket like those with the feathers and the antlers,
Mhm.
that's not something I'm throwing my keys into.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to value it more. You can charge more, even if it takes you the same amount of work or even less work, because you didn't have to make a handle. You're just attaching an antler.
Right.
The perceived value is going to go up and up and up on that. And
Okay.
the better your pictures are, the better your perceived value is going to be. Because if your
Okay.
pictures look dark and highlighted and on a kitchen table, it's
Yeah.
not and that's why I like the idea of taking pictures at the shops, because they're a bit more like curated, and they're very careful about the types of shelving that they use and the lighting that they use and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And you're going to give a much more elevated look to your photos
Mhm.
versus kitchen table with French doors in the background.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, all of that. If think of like those $25,000 bags.
Yeah.
How are they taking those photos?
Yeah.
It's
Good
certainly
point.
not on a kitchen table.
No. Good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So if we want, maybe you're not up to $25,000, but if you want to get $500 for a basket, which I bet you could, maybe
Mhm.
not those baskets specifically, but there's a basket out there that you could do that's going to be worth $500. We also
Yeah.
have to present it like it's a $500 basket.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Cindy, so much for being on. If you could, last thoughts. if somebody out there is watching this and they're not in Handmade Sellers Club and they're wondering whether or not there's like, what is this thing? Is this actually going to actually help people? What would you say to them?
I would say that it can change their life, that it can change what they're doing from a hobby into a real business, that there's so much knowledge that you can gain from that. Like, I'll tell you the truth, when I first joined, I thought, "Oh, I don't know. I really didn't understand half of what was being presented to me because I had no knowledge of that world at all, right? But the more I dug onto it and the more I go, oh my God, I can't believe it. So it is so, so, so beneficial. Allie, you are a godsend to people.
Oh, thank you.
You are so amazing. I'm so happy to meet you almost in person.
Yeah.
And and please, everybody, I can't tell you how much HSC makes a difference. I couldn't do even a tenth of the things that I'm doing now if it wasn't for HSC. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Cindy. I love having you in the group. You're always very active in the group and asking questions, and you're coachable, which I love. You're willing to learn, and you're willing to make adjustments. I'm really, really excited to see where you go with this, because I look for the thing that makes me go, "Ooh, that's really cool." Even if it's not my thing, I can see how other people would be like over the moon with a deer antler basket, right? So I think that you're on the right path with that. Dig into who you are and be you all over the place.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that because I'm always looking for that niche thing that's really going to make it just work and explode.
Yep, I think antler, feathers, porcupine quills, just keep going in that direction. You got
Okay,
it. All right,
will do.
thank you,
Thank
Cindy. Thank you so much
you.
for hanging out. I'm going to send Cindy backstage again. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us during this hot seat. I hope you got a lot of value. I saw like Papaya Cottage saying, I sell baskets too. So this is like great information. But whether you sell baskets or not, this is all, you can apply this to your business, right? Finding out what it is that you're really passionate about and what your style is, and really digging in deep to that and finding audiences that match with that is always going to be a winning strategy over trying to be Walmart, right? Trying to be everything to everybody and not wanting to alienate anybody. When we sold rabbit toys, like that was the most niche thing that most people had ever heard of. But we did well selling rabbit toys versus trying to sell toys and products for everybody that has a pet of any kind, because we were something to those people, right? We were a how do I want to call it, an oasis in the desert, because they couldn't find products that were genuinely made for them. So by providing those types of products, we were really able to do well. We would have $100,000 years selling rabbit toys on the internet. So yeah, niche down, niche down, niche down. If anybody is interested in Handmade Sellers Club, I'm going to put the link in the comments one more time. I know there were a lot of questions and stuff coming through, but I don't really have time to answer them now. But I am going to go back through the live and look at your questions and see if I can respond to those questions succinctly enough in a text response. If not, maybe I'll make a video about it another time. But here is the link for Handmade Sellers Club. You can get a 2-week trial for just $7. You get access to everything that we've talked about here: the templates, the Prompts for Profits calendar, the makeover training, the super seller system. Everything is in Handmade Sellers Club. You get access to all of it for that 2 weeks. And with that, thank you everybody for hanging out. I will be back with a Q&A session on March 7th. It's going to be in 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's going to be in 3 weeks. So it's like March or April 7th, I think it is. So I'll see you guys here in this Facebook page and on YouTube. So I'll see you guys then. Bye. Thank you, Cindy.